Judith Hill. I'm an American soul artist. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California, and I'm half Japanese and half African American. So my mom is a classical pianist, and my dad is a funk bass player. My mom came from Japan to the States to immerse herself in American music, and that's where she met my father. And so growing up, I was just constantly surrounded by amazing musicians and just a really creative environment. Lots of funk artists, lots of soul artists. We're just constantly in and out of the household. So it was really cool to just constantly hear those things. And my mom would teach me piano at an early age, and I was recording and singing in the studio ever since I was 4. So my parents were really instrumental in pushing me and getting me to start music at an early age. It was sometimes it was intimidating because there was always incredible artists and musicians surrounding me. So I was like, oh, they're so good. I'm not gonna be like that. And I didn't want to feel that pressure, but it wasn't till later where I just loved it. I couldn't resist it, and it was undeniable that that's what I needed to be doing. And so I just started to see the blessing around me instead of saying, oh, I don't want to do this. I was like, wow, let me take advantage of the fact that Sly and the Family Stone is here, and all of these amazing musicians are here. And so I just used it as a school, and I just learned a lot. It takes a while sometimes to find your sound, especially when you love all of it, So it was an evolution. It started me, growing up in the church and having a heavy gospel background. That's where a lot of my foundation came from, and where the soul came from, and then the jazz and the funk and the rock, and eventually, other things just started to continue to just add it. I just added on, and eventually, I found my sound, and I found what really works for me. I love Japan. It's such a, they're so passionate about music there, and they're just great fans, and they're loyal, and so every time I go there, I'm just so, I feel blessed to be there. I've gone there on different occasions. One time I went for the Billboard Music Awards there, and they gave me an award. And then I've done some writing with some artists there, particularly and then some Michael Jackson tribute things and different things like that. When I create music, it automatically takes me to a fantasy world visually, and I think just it's who I am to dress the part of what I'm selling in my music. And I love high fashion things. I love runway meets fantasy world and exotic clothing from different parts of the world, and I like to incorporate that in my dancers or singers and band. And so I just love to play with colors and different types of textures and things like that. There's the funk side, which is the song you mentioned, Be With Me, and I did a music video on that, and it's really fun and cool. But it's very much of the part of me that loves to play and kind of talk about life in a more fun, tongue-in-cheek way. And I think that when I'm writing up-tempo dance music and stuff like that, I like to play with words, and I like to be fun with things. I've got so many songs that are coming up on the album called Abracadabra, and just different things. And it's just I feel like it's the child part of me, a part of my childhood that just comes out when things like that. So that song, Be With Me, is about, it's basically saying, I'm not sure you want to be with me, you don't know me, and it's it's kind of poking fun at a guy that, is a bit obnoxious and stuck on himself. And so, I wrote that with my friend Stefan Skarback. And then Beautiful Life is also another really song that's close to my heart. I'm actually going to sing it today. And it's just something that just was a result of just living life and going through struggle, and just looking around me and realizing I have a lot to be thankful for. I've got beautiful people around me. I've got my health. And so, it talks about life in a very real way. Now is the time to spread the wings of life. It's a beautiful life, a beautiful life. but it also, my hope is for that song to encourage and inspire people when they're not feeling well, and just to, you know, lift them up.